Break80 listeners, we have a special guest tonight. You've probably heard of him. The man with the best sandbagging senses in the world, calling out rats, striking fear into vanity handicaps everywhere. We'll call him the Country Club Columbo, the detective, Mr. Yip Strickler. How are we doing?
Hello, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. Let's have some fun. I'm kind of known these days as the podcast whore in the golf industry. I seem to be hopping on one of these every single week, and I will continue to do it as long as we are protecting the game of net golf. That's all I care about.
You've crossed the Rubicon. You're on the member, and you're the guest.
Yes, I should have grabbed a guest hat. That was next time. Next time you guys have me on, I'll be more prepared.
Yeah. Oh man, before we start golf, are you a Detroit Lions fan? Was that what you are?
Oh, a fan of the greatest team in the entire universe? Yes, I am.
Oh my God. Oh,
we are the best team in the world. We have been for 3 years. Might have had a little hiccup in an NFC Championship game, and we may have lost our entire defense and our second-string defense last year, but we are back, and we are definitely the best team in the world. It's not even close.
So we will have our shared, we will bring up Aaron Rodgers, who is an elite level sandbagger. We will have to bring him up on this pod because he's one of the worst. But as a Vikings fans and Lions fans unite tonight, although Tim is a Packers fan, but, he's from Iowa. He doesn't get a team, really. He doesn't.
You get to choose, Mike. And Milwaukee, way closer to Davenport, Iowa than you ever were to the Twin Cities.
What? I grew up only 5 hours north of here. So anyway, Yip, what is the, what's the word I'm looking for? The origin story here of you being the preeminent handicap detective, maybe on the planet. Probably.
Who pissed you off? Who won that member guest, that member that got you deep in the books?
I did start a little bit of this at my own prestigious private golfing club. I would, whenever someone was getting out of line, I was never an official handicap chair by any means, but, I would notice some irregularities and I wasn't going to let it slide. I mean, because, I didn't really start playing golf till around 2011. That's when I first joined a club. I had played a few scrambles, couple little hit and giggles here and there. And then, I joined this club and I was always had this, thought in my head that golf was this game of just integrity and, you call penalties on yourselves and you do the right thing. And it didn't take me long to figure out that nobody does the right thing. There is no integrity, especially in net golf. It's the complete opposite. And I had called out a few potential sandbagging rats in my own clubs. They, who knows, they may have just been having a difficult time using the app or whatnot. I don't know for sure that they were rats, probably, but I'd called them out a few times, and then how this all started, I basically was just drunk one night and I saw this posting at a local club, and I was like, I did a little research on the winners, and I was like, oh man, this one guy's went to my rival high school, Catholic Central, and I was like, I'm going to pound this guy. And I just did a little, I looked up his information, did just a little 1-minute video. Really wasn't a in-depth thing at all, just kind of fun. And I don't know, I was like, oh man, I woke up the next morning a little fuzzy as usual. And I was like, oh man, I might have something here. And then I just started playing around, and I don't know, here we are. Now I am the biggest independent journalist investigating handicaps and tournaments at prestigious private golfing clubs in the entire galaxy, and it's really not even close.
So, like most great things, started with some booze. Like it.
Well, yeah. I mean, all 3 of my kids, Pip, Skip, and Elizabeth, they did. So,
which, by the way, I listened to you on some other pod, and I'm pretty sure we have one thing in common. If you hit our Instagram search button, I feel like yours and mine. I've shown Tim mine before. Just nothing but big boobs and golf. That's all it is.
Yeah, I don't know how they know, but they know.
I guess you're putting the E on this one, huh? The explicit on this podcast recording again.
Of course we will.
Okay.
Absolutely. Instagram knows what we like, Tim.
Now, as the foremost journalist of handicaps at prestigious country clubs, Has anyone approached you now that we know that you like the liquor a little bit? Has anyone approached you with gifts? Any buyouts? Any maybe blackmail your way, coming the other way to get themselves out of the force that is Yip Strickler?
I have not been. I haven't been blackmailed. I have had some nice liquor companies reach out to me and send me things. No official deals, nothing that will actually pay the bills. Maybe someday in the future. I did have a Sun Cruiser. They did a few nice things for me a few weeks back. Really treated me to a wonderful day at a awesome country club. Let's see. There's a company called Sandbagger Seltzer, which to me seems like the perfect. It would be a really good partnership.
Yeah, dream.
But they're from Canada, so you know how that goes. I mean, getting the product over here and the tariffs, I would probably have to sell them for like $20 a pop. But they were good. No, nobody's really blackmailed me. But however, I thought that there may have been a major player in the golf industry that was kind of trying to get into my head to kind of ensure that I didn't, I don't know, maybe do an investigation on any of their tournaments. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with this company. They're called Golf Digest.
It's a little publication.
Yeah, they had a tournament back in September, the Golf Digest Open. It's similar to these other things. They have all these regional events across the country. You qualify. Then you get to go play 2 days at Stream Song. The winners, they get to go to Ireland, a 4-day Ireland trip. And yeah, I was picking up this Golf Digest that just came out, the October-November issue, and what the heck is going on here? Look at this guy. It looks like Yip Strickler's on page 18, and I hate to break it to Golf Digest. Now that this magazine's out, I am dropping my investigation on the Golf Digest Open tomorrow. It's going live tomorrow. I've been sitting on it for a month waiting for this article to show up because it was a business decision, right? Like I wasn't going to drop the stuff on this tournament and then have them be like, oh, we didn't like that. Let's kill the Yip story. Wasn't going to let that happen. So it's out now. Tomorrow, Golf Digest Open will drop, and it is a doozy.
We got this. So, well, speaking of that, you've gotten into some riffs with the Barstool boys, with the Barstool Classic. They're big fans of getting the handicaps called out, I believe.
Well, the Barstool, first and foremost, I owe a lot of my fake success with this fake business to Barstool. Okay, they kind of put me on the map. I don't know, June, July of 2024. I had done a little piece on one of their stories. They had a couple boys from Iowa there, Timmy, that were
real rats.
They had a 15 handicap that never posted any scores, that shot a 78 on a day where there was a typhoon on the golf course. And did a little piece on them, and the next day Commissioner Riggs had responded to me with a little 9-minute video that, it could have been a minute and a half, but it was 9 minutes. And kind of put me on the map. And so I am very thankful to them. I owe a lot to them. However, their tournament is littered with Sandbagging Rats, and it's every time one comes up, it's just I have a wonderful day when it happens. But lately, I will say it seems like the behaviors are starting to turn a little bit. I'm actually starting to see the qualifying teams post their scores after. It's crazy.
Oh, it's kind of probably like Batman. There's the bat signal. They put the Memba light up above the course, and they know you're watching.
Something's happening. They know.
Now, knowing that you have a little bit of a beef with, let's not say beef, a history with Barstool, do any particular situations come to mind of the worst sandbagging story you could think of?
Well, as far as a Barstool Classic, early this spring, I mean, it happened, and I'm so thankful. I could see it developing, and you got to understand, while I'm following these tournaments, I'm just following, Golf Genius live leaderboards, okay? I'm just sitting there just watching them, watching who's here, who's there. I'll do a little clicking. Oh, who's this guy, where he's from, where, what's his number, blah, blah, blah. and I could see a team right off the bat. Like, and I knew, and this was another one where the conditions were poor that day, and I can just see them. They're just lighting this place up. And I found, I mean, both of these guys are in the running for 2025 Sandbagging Rat of the Year. Tommy Padgett and Ryan Smith. They are teammates, okay? And let's just say Tommy, he's the older gentleman, not a fan of posting scores. I believe he was a, kind of a mini tour chaser back in the day, according to multiple sources, widely known in the Charlotte area as a hustler / gambler. I have been following him, on a weekly basis, just constantly getting tips from people. Your boy Tommy just won again. He won again. And it's crazy that he doesn't post any scores. Last I checked, he didn't even have 5 scores posted this year. Okay. Now he runs around at like about a 3.5, when really he's, according to multiple sources, I might add, more like a scratch or +1. He's a good player. As far as his partner, Ryan Smith, this guy shot a 66 at, I believe, the Charlotte Open this year. Let's just say he's not even a plus handicap. Did you think that 66 made it in the box, Timmy? You think that 66? It did not even close. So these two guys, they're teammates. I am so excited for this Barstool Classic coming up in November, because they're obviously my top pick to win this thing. And if all goes well, man, I hope they do it.
Well, I don't think there's really they don't do any checks, do they? Do they actually check, like, if this is so-and-so person, or could somebody just put a name in there and just show up and play under a different name at these things?
Well, I don't know if they have had to move to checking IDs per se. I will say last year at the Barstool Classic qualifying event that I was talking about, where Commissioner Riggs so graciously put me on the map, there were some rumors from the Golden Tianon Society. If you're not familiar with them, they're just a bunch of they're just a bunch of right-wing conspiracy theorists that are obsessed with golden tea. And they believe that in this tournament, there were these brothers, Matt Emick and, I'm drawing a blank. It was Matt and I forget the other guy's name. This is over a year. I got a lot of names in my head. Either way, the one brother was a 5, the other one was a 15, and they think that the brothers switched spots. Now, I don't think this at all. This was just the Golden Tianon Society, crazy whack jobs. But hey, anything's possible.
Yeah. Well, Tim and I,
especially since at the Barstool Classic, he went from shooting a 78 at the qualifier to shooting like a 110 at the Classic in Arizona. So something was up.
Oh, geez. I think, Tim and I, we had, when we were at Gullen in Scotland here this summer, we drank some beer at a bar with one of the executives from Golf Genius. We might have to get Yip on the board. He gave us his cell phone number. Get you on the board over there.
Dude, that's my second favorite app, Golf Genius app. I love it. I wish there was a way, like, we could contact Golf Genius and see if, like, there's a way that can tap into different IP addresses and whatnot and figure out who has entered the most Golf Genius codes into their Golf Genius app in 2025. And if it's not me, I would be very surprised.
We might have to pull some strings, Tim, and see what we can do.
It sounded like, yep, we might need to put a GPS tracker on everyone's phone. And as soon as that GPS tracker starts walking down the golf course, it requires you to enter a score.
Wouldn't that be nice? I've thought about getting a hold of Mr. Elon Musk with Neuralink. You join a club for $200,000. It's wrapped up in the initiation fee, and boop. That would solve a lot of problems, but I don't think we're there yet.
Did you have a tip line? That's my favorite part of your website, the tip line, where you can call in tips about cheaters. But do you get a lot of tips for Riggs himself to dig into Riggs' score? Because he gets a lot of guff for being a 2 handicap or whatever.
Yeah, especially in the off season, they're going to start, rolling in, get Riggs, first off, if you're a vanity handicap, like, and you're not cheating, you're just cheating yourself. So, I'm not really concerned with that. But I will say this. I think Riggs and myself, our games, we have a ton of similarities. Number one, awful golf swings. I mean, some of the worst. He's got an awful swing. Mine might be worse. I'm not kidding. It's very, very poor. I was a baseball player. I never took golf lessons. It is just long. My swing doesn't stop. It's like John Daly, but the ball doesn't go anywhere. And I do think, like, we play enough golf. We're athletic enough that some days we're timing it up right, because our swings they're really based on timing. They're not like these, real golf swings where they can just hit the ball every single day when they roll out of bed. And when we get it going, we get it going. Which, is another reason why I kind of got into this, because I get really frustrated when, I see guys that I know play golf 3 to 4 times per week at my club, and I go to play against them, and I'm like, well, wait a second, how many shots am I giving you? This doesn't make any sense. I know what kind of player you are. So, yeah, I get a lot of thing on Riggs, but I'm sure, in the off season, I'm sure he'll be playing a match against someone where I have to do a little piece just to, keep the people happy. But
So as far as a sandbagger is concerned, if we're trying to hide how good we are, is there a best handicap to have? One that just might throw you off a little bit outside of posting a scratch?
Well, I will say the thing I've learned the most on this journey is how many scratch golfers are actually just sandbagging rats. Okay, like, these guys are +3 to +4 players, but they walk around and they show up, oh, I'm scratch, and nobody's really gonna argue with you, right? When you hear, like, know a guy, oh, you're scratch, oh, okay, yeah, good, yeah, what are we playing for? Sure. But the difference between a scratch player and a +4 is astronomical. Okay, there's no comparison. You cannot compare the two. As far as, like, if there's like a little, I can tell you the worst pocket, like if you're a legit handicap, is 5 to 7.5, which is where I have been, like, I don't know, like the last 5 years of my life. Okay, right in that pocket where you never win anything. As far as what I think the best is, I mean, 10 to 12 seem to be the most dangerous in tournaments. Yeah.
I was gonna throw out like a 4 or a 5, because I feel like that player can shoot almost anything. They could shoot it one day even par, and the next day they could shoot 82. It's just they're all over the place.
I am a 5. Let's see. I was a 5.2 like a week ago. I think I might be a 5.4 as we speak. I have never shot par once. Okay, now, I have, like, playing from, up tees or, some kind of nonsense like that. But as far as playing, like, back tees, I've shot 73 multiple times, over, but never, I've never done it. The 4 to 5, I mean, realistically, they shouldn't be shooting, at least the 5s, they shouldn't be shooting par too often.
Well, I was driving down the highway the other day, and I was listening to PGA Tour radio on Sirius Radio with Johnson Wagner and Brendan DeJong, who have the Filet and whatever it is show. I can't remember what it's called, but
Wagyu filet.
Wagyu filet, yeah. You came up on there that night because you did a little piece on Brendan DeJong, who, after watching your piece, I looked at it and I'm like, you made a lot of sense, because he's only playing off like a +1.9, but he was on the tour just he's not that far removed from being a tour player.
No. I understand, life's changed. If you don't play golf, obviously he's not going to continue to be a +6 or 7 or who knows what he was, in his playing days. And, I didn't accuse him of anything. I would like to make this completely clear. All I did was report the facts and then, let the people decide. And a lot of times, it seems like this aura I've created, it's like every time I'm talking about someone, they assume the worst, and I can't help that. That's not my fault that I created that, type of vibe. That's not my fault. I'm just reporting the facts. I tell you what, I used to be a pretty big fan of his, and the thing is if you if you go back and I put that on the X and it had a scorecard up there from the event. And if you check it out, he did the same exact thing that he did when he was on tour. The guy's a birdie machine. Okay. He makes a ton of birdies and he makes a ton of bogeys. And he pretty much did that in that tournament. He did the same thing his entire career. He's just a wild boy firing at pins no matter where they're at all times. And yeah, it was fun. And he has reached out to me. He doesn't want to kill me, thank God.
They had good fun. They had good fun with it.
Cool.
Yeah, he made. I think they were talking about it. He kind of said the same thing you did. I made a lot of bogeys. He said he made like. You probably said this. It was like 17 birdies in like 45 holes or something. It was an insane amount of birdies.
Yes, he makes a lot of birdies.
My God. So you obviously you've got the tip line. You've got Golf Genius going for score updates. What else goes into one of these investigations as you're getting this information to then post? And how much time is going into one of these videos for you?
Okay, well, I will not talk about how much time it takes me to make one of these videos because it's just embarrassing. Okay, it's embarrassing. I don't sleep. I eat, drink, and I don't sleep. I just lay in bed and roll around. And I'm just all about protecting the game of net golf. I'm so dedicated to this. Let's see. What was the first before the time? What was...
what all goes into some of the investigation outside of Golf Genius and the tip line?
As far as cases that, make it to where I produce a video for them, it's really helpful if I've found them winning other tournaments, especially if it's like not at their own club or, maybe like a US Am Tour, if you're familiar with them, or just another one of these traveling circuses is what most of them seem to be. If I get you winning other net golf tournaments, and then, obviously we always go back and look at their scores and look what they've been posting. At times I dig into my super secret admin status and can go back. And if I catch you like it's October right now and you're posting scores back to August right now, preparing your handicap, let's say, for the 2026 season, just getting everything in line. That's always a guarantee. You'll probably make a video. The Google, if I can find some, maybe it's someone that wins a tournament, but I really don't have anything as far as him being a sandbagger. If I can, link up to some of your social media stuff and find some embarrassing photographs, you got a pretty good chance to show up in a Yip clip. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I like math and numbers, so sometimes I nerd out on my own a lot of stuff that doesn't really make it into the videos, and you'll just see me. If there was a camera on me, I'm just like punching the desk and just fury about how big of a rat this guy is. But a lot of times, I can't really I try not to accuse them because I don't like attorneys. I don't want to have to hire one to take something down. Although my last cease and desist, I had no less than 128 attorneys reach out to me to offer their services pro bono, I might add. So I probably should just do whatever I want.
Yeah.
One of these got so heated it led to a cease and desist letter.
Well, yeah. I mean, in the beginning, when people didn't really know what I was about, and they'd wake up and see a video with themselves on it, and me having an issue with a certain gentleman posting 8 straight 90s before playing an event where they shoot 82 every day. I had some threats early on that I could easily shut down, but this year, I knew it was going to happen before I even did the video. I told Mama Strickler she was going out of town, and I was like, hey, babe, shit is going to hit the fan this week. I can tell by looking at these two that they're not going to be happy, and anything is possible. And I was correct. My instincts were correct. It took about, 45 minutes before one of the subjects was, just the regular old calling me homophobic slurs on Twitter. I mean, that's that's easy peasy stuff. I can accept that all day. But then, suddenly I got a phone call from the guy. Boom. He calls me, somehow got my number, and I know how he got my number. He lied and said his attorney gave it to him, but really he used his real estate credentials to dig in, pull my LLC, do some stuff, which for the record, I don't know if you guys know this, but the number 2 career for Sandbagging Rats happens to be if you're in the real estate industry. So it all lined up. And yeah, they sent me a little cease and desist, and it was a total joke. I did a really nice press conference. I did pull the video just because it wasn't worth it to me. And I got like 5,000 followers on the X that day. So I won.
Yeah.
And
fantastic.
I did a nice press conference though. It's on there. I'll send it to you guys later.
Yeah. Are there any you regret doing? Any that come back to bite you? Like, I shouldn't have did that one. I feel bad about that.
So there's one that, I shouldn't regret it. I was spot on. Okay. This was one that I received 0 tips on. It was in the off season last year. So, I'm struggling I'm just struggling. I need to find a rat. And I came across, I think I just mentioned it a few minutes ago, but I believe it was the U.S. Am Tour. And it's crazy. The guy has the same last name as someone else on this podcast, I'm pretty sure. It's the same, thing you yell every time you just slice a ball 2 fairways over.
That is my last name, yeah.
Yep.
Can't trust him.
So it was perfect because, I could, say the guy's name, and every time I said his last name, obviously I could just scream 4, and it was just a silly little video. However, when it got down to the nitty gritty and investigating how he won the national championship, well, it was a flighted. The way it works is they don't play each tournament, with handicap strokes. It's just flighted. So I believe it was like 4 to 7.9 is like the player's flight or something, and that's where this gentleman fell in, and his handicap was, right up next to the 4, right? It was like a 4.2, 4.4, something like that. And I noticed after the event, they post the scores for you automatically, right? Boom, they go in. And I noticed that for some reason, the course and slope ratings had changed for this gentleman, the one that just won the national championship. And I went back and I looked at everyone else that was playing in this tournament, and I look and I'm like, nope. They all have the same posting, same course rating, same slope rating, and the numbers even changed a touch. So the score that he entered, I think he raised one by like a shot, and he obviously had an admin go in and change the course and slope ratings. And the reason he did this was because his handicap was going to drop down to like a 3.5, which would put him up to the next flight for the following year. And he doesn't want to do that. He's not going to have any fun not winning. So I did this video on him, and there was like a break in his postings from, whenever this national championship was, November till and I think I was reporting on it in like January, February, and he was from down south. So why isn't this guy playing golf all of a sudden? I said something like, oh, he's just taking off a few months to celebrate his natty. So like 2 hours after I post this video, I get a message from the guy, and he starts it off. He's like, first off, big fan of your work. I was like, all right, we're off to a good start. And then he's like, well, the reason I haven't been posting any scores is because I haven't been playing. In December, I was diagnosed with heart failure, and I'm currently on a donor's list. And I'm like, oh no, this guy's. If he's not dead, I'm gonna kill this guy with this video. This isn't good. So I pulled that one too. Blah blah blah. And I have good news. He got a heart. Everything's good. We have been in contact. Everything's good. Everything's good. I'm sure he'll be sandbagging in 2026 like you've never seen.
Got a golfer's heart in there. Well, so you mentioned one of the most likely professions to sandbag on the golf course being real estate agents. I'm wondering if there's any other giveaways to a likely sandbagger, either a look or the clubs or profession, appearance, whatever it might be.
As far as professions, careers go, number 1, CFPs, certified financial players or planners, automatic. 2, real estate industry. 3, NFL quarterbacks. Besides Jared Goff and Josh Allen, those are the only two that I've found that are not sandbagging rats. The rest of them, definite sandbagging rats. Number 4, if you're in the insurance industry, we already know. We already know what you're up to. And number 5 is obviously attorneys. As far as other things, I mean, I've beat it to death. People think like there's like I just make up this white belt thing and the correlation. 88% of sandbaggers admit to wearing a white belt 88% of the time. I mean, if you go back and look, every single video of a guy winning a net tournament, I mean, not everyone, but I definitely say 88% of them are wearing white belts. There's obviously something going on. This was, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, the white belt, that was like a 2015 thing.
Yeah, it's been
why
out
this
forever.
is going on. I mean, Jordan Spieth was cool when the white belts were being rocked. You know what I mean? That was his kind of thing. He was out there with his little white belt, making every 30-footer that he looked at. Nowadays, I don't know why they're all still doing it, especially with, the amount of publicity I've brought to the white belt, and sandbagging connection. That's definitely one. As far as other, I mean, just by looking at it, I mean, I don't like to judge a book by its cover. I mean, even though I do it every single time I see a net winner at a prestigious private golfing club online, it's tough. It takes it. I'm almost willing to say this. It's kind of just a God-given talent that I have to be able to sniff these guys out. I don't want to discuss any other things because someone else might jump into the industry, and I like to stay at the top.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, the worst case of this was the 2023 Pebble Beach Pro-Am, where Aaron Rodgers, who is a 3 handicap, I believe, roughly, out of when he was at Green Bay, out of the Green Bay Country Club, got to play as a 10 at Pebble Beach, mainly because in 2022, the way they do it, I wrote an article about this years ago. The way they do it is in 2022, he misses the cut as a 10, even though he's a 3. But they lock your handicap in then, so he gets to play as a 10 the next year. Under the guise of Pebble Beach, under the guise of Pebble Beach is so much more difficult than other courses, even though they're playing way up in a pro-am.
Yeah.
So he goes on to win. Then I think he caught a lot of flack for that too, playing as a 10, because everybody you can look up as
I'm pretty sure
as a 3.
Keith Mitchell, I'm pretty sure, hired a hitman. Like he was pissed.
Keith Mitchell was pissed. Yeah.
Oh, he was not happy. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, and guys, we all know that we've discussed this already. I'm a big Detroit Lions guy, so obviously Aaron Rodgers and I we don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. There's quite a few we do see eye to eye on, mostly like, I don't know, going to random countries and doing drugs. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. On board with that.
I'm totally on board with that. But I'm going to tell you right now, and we're playing this guy Sunday Night Football this week. Detroit Lions at the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is making Aaron Rodgers look like a good guy in the net golf
really?
world. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes is diabolical the way he manages this handicap. I've done a couple pieces on him. I did a video in the past, and I posted about him over the summer, because what I witnessed is, I mean, if he really played, now I don't want to misspeak here. I believe it was in the month of May. I think he had 28 postings in the month of May, and it was really, really peculiar because the guy never posts around. Okay, he never posts a score. You don't see anything going into the app. And suddenly, 28 scores in the month of May. And it seemed like the reason those scores went in was because he shot 2 extremely low scores that resulted in exceptional score reductions as well. And his handicap went from like, he was living at a 7. And that's the other thing, he likes to, he boasts about it. Like, he literally bragged during the Super Bowl press conference last year about how he's a 7, but don't tell my friends I don't post my good scores. Okay, he was bragging about it. This is the kind of sandbagging rat he is. He better be careful, because I got a funny feeling some of these Lions are gonna be chomping at the bit to get him. So let me just go to my favorite app in the world real quick and see where he lies right now. So yes, he's currently a 4.2 soft cap. Okay, his two scores that he finally posted. Now, I don't know if he played an event somewhere and they automatically posted them for him. That's kind of what I'm thinking, and my opinion, that's what happened. He went all the way down to a 0.8, and Patty said, no, I ain't going to win any money as a 0.8. So he just got on that thing. Now he might have been playing golf. I mean, hey, who knows? He might have been playing golf, but it's crazy. Out of all his scores now, he has broke 80 twice. He's got a 79 and a 78 on there still, but other than that, he just pumped a bunch of low 80s. I don't know. Maybe he just went through a rough patch after playing the best golf of his life. Getting down to a 0.8 and then flying to a soft cap 4.2 is pretty remarkable in 1 month.
What do you think Dan Campbell would do to a golf course? Just rip it up. He would just look at the ball and it would fly like 300 yards. He'd give it a stare.
I'm pretty sure he could just fart a golf ball 280 yards right down the middle.
Okay, well, here's a good one for you. I think I've heard you talk about this before. The USGA. I know most people call it the GIN. You go by a different name. Again, we all know my favorite app in the world. Straight to the GIN every single time. I will not change it. Actually, a few months ago, I don't know how long it was now, but the USGA did, they kind of poked me. They're, boop, this is the proper way to pronounce it. And they said, sorry, Yip, they tagged me, sorry, Yip Strickler, and they did their whole little, they put 10 Gidden Jr., the football player, up there. They had an opportunity when they created this thing to have an acronym that sounds like nothing else in the world. Not GIN, the worst kind of, spirit that I want nothing.
There goes your sponsorship.
That's okay. That's okay. Except for long drinks. I like the gin in those. I'm just saying. I got to drink gin. I'm not touching it. Except in long drinks. I don't understand it. They had... It starts with GH. There's no word in the English language. I have talked about it many times. It's frustrating, but I'm not going to change it. It's almost like I did it on purpose to kind of get the USGA's attention also. Maybe someday the USGA and I can, maybe we can work together on this thing since I'm promoting your product every single day for free.
Yeah. So what do you think of their 9-hole philosophy? Counting a 9-hole round.
It stinks. Okay, it's the worst thing they've done. On a business standpoint, totally get it. Okay, they have a monopoly. Okay, these other companies, 18 Birdies, all these other, whoever else wants to hop in and get your own little handicap thing. Well, the 9-hole postings, they never released what their actual formula is for calculating these things. Okay, now I probably spent about 14 hours figuring it out, and I know how it is. I got it down to it's 100th. It varies sometimes based on exactly what your handicap index is. But I find it insane that if let's just say we sign up for the same golf league, and this guy's a 10 and this guy's a 4, and they both shoot a 38 in their little 9-hole score, right? Well, this 10 that shot a 38, his differential is going to be like without taking into effect any course or slope ratings, his differential is going to be like a 9.8, and the 4 handicaps index is going to be like a 4. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. If we're playing golf the same place at the same time and we shoot the same score, why are our differentials not the same? It just creates this. It creates a program for the SBRs, Sandbagging Rats, for those of you not familiar with that acronym, and to basically just go and, I'm just going to post 2 9-hole scores. And if you don't think that they do it, they do. Okay, I've seen it multiple times. And then the other thing is you have all these member guests that do the 5 9-hole matches. So these guys are playing, 18 holes on a Thursday, 18 holes on a Friday, but the scores aren't posted as 18-hole scores. They're posted as 9-hole, 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 9-hole. So it gives them the opportunity to knock all these scores off of their record quicker than they really should. And the differentials to me are just, it's very frustrating. Thanks a lot for bringing this up. I'm not going to sleep tonight for sure now.
I got another one that I can't figure out when it comes to the handicap. They remember a few years back, they instituted that deal where they were going to try to figure out weather and stuff into there, wind
PCC.
and rain. Yes, Tim and I have played
playing conditions calculation.
We played Whistling Straits a couple years ago in a torrential downpour and like 30-mile-an-hour winds the whole round, and there was no change on the score when you entered it, none whatsoever.
No PCC?
I'm like, yes. I'm like, how?
Do you know why?
No.
Because there wasn't enough people that entered scores that day. Even though, where did you say you played?
Whistling Straits.
Oh, Whistling Straits. Yeah, I've heard of that place. I hear it's pretty popular. I bet the tee sheet was loaded that day with guys with legitimate handicaps. But
so there's a certain number of rounds that need to be entered, huh?
All right, you can't quote me on that. I'm going to reach out to the USGA and get back to you with a complete answer on this. But yeah, I think they need a certain data set to be able to pump anything in like that.
Interesting. It's like a crowdsource almost. They're taking the aggregate of how many over all of us were based on our index and going, that was tough.
I think so.
Interesting.
I could just be full of shit too on that. But I do believe there is a certain amount of data they need.
Where are most of these rats at? Is there a couple spots that have the most rats of anywhere in America?
Well, the state of North Carolina, they're number one. I've learned so much about how many golf courses are in North Carolina and private clubs, and the guys I mentioned in the beginning, the front runners for 2025 Sandbagging Rat of the Year, they're both from North Carolina too. Crazy. Last year, like when I kind of started this thing in 2024, a lot of the cases were coming from North Carolina right off the riff, and yeah, they're pretty bad. I will say the Philadelphia area, wild. I mean, it's pretty amazing there. A lot of them there. Texas, I think, is kind of, there's just so many people that obviously there's going to be some. I've found a couple dandies. I'm really hoping that, maybe this fall and early winter, I get last year I really didn't get many Arizona cases, and I know these guys are playing golf year round. So I'm hoping I need to get out west a little bit more. I've done a few in California. I've had some good ones, but as far as the top, North Carolina is the top. Then I'd say that Philadelphia area is wild, and my home state, it ain't very good. It's nonstop tips, and that's it's my local area, so you would think, oh man, Yip should be careful. He probably shouldn't call these guys out. That's not how I live my life. If you're cheating, if I even think you're manipulating your handicap, I'm coming for you.
Doing the Lord's work in Michigan.
Well, Mama Strickler doesn't like that when I tell her how many people tell me I'm doing the Lord's work, but we go to church. We go to church every Sunday.
So you had your piece in Golf Digest. You've mentioned wanting to find some additional rats and other places. Do you bring this on the road? Have you been invited to go anywhere to investigate in person or just as a golf celebrity now?
Well, I've had some people reach out with like some, half-assed offers to show up at some things. I don't really have an agent by any means. So like a lot of times when they ask, I'm just like, and I have 3 kids. I have, a real business besides this fake business, and, a lot of things on my plate. So I haven't really gone about traveling to do anything like that yet. I've been invited to play in a couple, look, I'm not an influencer, okay? I'm a fake independent journalist. Those influencers, guys, go play your little golf. I'm sure someday I'll get invited to one of these things I'll say yes to. But as far as rubbing elbows with these that's not for me.
I think where the golf world needs you lately, at least it's getting worse, it seems like, and it's not necessarily a handicap thing. is these scrambles. These like 4-person scrambles where the scores are like 42 for they're insane.
Well,
it's got to be just rapid cheating.
Who's the guy that invented it's a gimme if you buy 700 feet of rope to start this thing. Like, it's just the gimmicks are just, they're crazy. Oh, this whole, we're going to shoot a ball out of a cannon because we can. It's America. Okay, I love that part. But like the part that we're playing like competitions, yeah, the scrambles are nuts. There's nothing I can do as far as really like with handicap. Of course, like you can do a little bit, right? If you're seeing a guy's, they're part of their member guest where they might have went crazy on a 9-hole 2-man scramble or something that shouldn't be possible for a 14 and a 12 to do. But like as far as these charity scrambles, unless I'm hiding up in a tree stand, looking down, hiding on hole number 6, par 5, which I know that's where these guys cheat the most, the par 5s, right? Like, well, we have to make an eagle or we're not going to win this gift card for $100 at Walmart, whatever they're playing for. There's not much I can do, but yeah, it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. You know what else drives me crazy since we're on the topic of this? I posted a little thing about some scramble winners a few weeks ago. And it was a par, I forget what the par was. They shot 19 under, okay? 4 guys, they shoot 19 under. Very difficult to do. I've played with some really good golfers in scrambles. 19 under is, it's just tough to do. And I didn't accuse anyone of anything. All I did was, as I said earlier, I just posted their names, posted their score, and just congratulated them. I even said congratulations. Boy, I got some hate from a couple of their little butt buddies that got in telling me to be better. Be better, Yip. I don't even know what that means. Be better. I did nothing. All I did was post if I can't do my fake job, like, maybe you should be better and not follow me. It's that simple. It's not hard. All you do hit the button. Unfollow Yip. That's all you have to do.
And there's such an easy fix for these scrambles because they always let these guys go out in one group of 4. Just make them go out in 8-somes. Have 2 groups in every hole. It would eliminate all the cheating. Unless
they'd have to bring out some cars to light, with their headlights on, because it would take.
Yeah, it'd be slow. It'd be slow play, but
I do like the philosophy if you're playing a straight up scramble, like no gimmicks, that at the end have the top 3 teams. Let's go do a shootout. Show everyone how good you are. I do like that.
Well, Timmy, you got anything else for Yip? We better let him get going here if you don't have anything else.
No, I'm just going to warn you now. I didn't upload my scores from Oregon. I'm going to do that right after this. So if you see 4 posted in a row, there weren't enough people on those golf courses. It was too cold. Just know I'm posting them. I'm putting them up. They're all blocked together.
At Tetherow, world-renowned hard course, Tetherow, you get beat up?
Tetherow shot an 80 and I tripled 17. I was playing very well. 79 at Pronghorn, 84 at Meadows, and then we kind of mixed up the games. We had some, we did a scramble, we did some other stuff, played single club just to kind of mix it up.
What's your current number, Timmy?
I believe it's 3.4.
Okay, that all checks out. You're good.
Yeah. Timmy and I play straight up. I love it. Tim's not taking any strokes. He's playing man's game.
I love it.
Get beat every time, almost every time.
No, there's a couple where you got me.
I got to play a match a couple weeks ago with Jake Adams from Country Club Adjacent. The fine Jewish fella that reviews the Jewish Country Club.
Love his reviews.
Oh my
does all the
gosh.
calls, does all the phone calls.
They are dynamite, and I got him though. I took him to Yip Pound Town. Now, it was at my home course, and the candy shop was open for me. He's a scratch player. I was, he kind of messed up too. I was kind of like telling him, I had already known, right? I had done the strokes thing already. I use the app more than anyone, and I was like, well, I'm sure he's going to say we're going to play the back tees. I'm going to get an extra shot. And that's what I wanted. And I was like, well, the member tees are the 2s. We can play those. And he's like, well, it's a short course. We'll tip it out. I'm like, yes, extra piece of candy. I don't think I really needed it, but I got him.
So I got a plan for us, Tim, according to Yip here. So there's a guy in Minnesota. I wonder if this happens in other states ever. I've looked it up. When I've looked up my own name, in the search for the handicaps, there's one other person in this state of Minnesota with the exact same spelling of his name as me. Exactly. Who's at 19. And so that I'm playing at a +2 right now, I could just literally show up, even if they ask for a driver's license, and say, hey, I'm a 19. Here's my name. Here's my license.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now,
perfect.
common names are my least favorite thing in this fake job that I've created, okay? Because, like, if there's a Ryan Smith, which I've already talked about, it takes me forever to figure out who in the world it is. And to be honest, my case tomorrow, the guy has a borderline popular name, but I narrowed it down by state, and I was able to get to it that way. But yeah, the same name thing is, yeah, you have a good point, but please don't take advantage of that. I'd hate for you
No,
to end up
I'm
in
not
a
going to
Yip
do
clip.
that. If there's a net and a gross division, I'd go play in some of these, maybe, but like the last time I went and played in one, we did this big Ryder Cup, and you and I were talking about this before we recorded here. I was playing a guy who's a pretty high handicap, and he was getting a double bump on a couple holes, 2 bumps on a hole. And I'm like, this is impossible. Can we not cap this at 18? 1 bump per hole? Like, holy cow. Insane.
I can't imagine being that bad. I mean, I stink, and I just cannot. I would quit. I would just go fishing.
Yeah, it was
know.
good. And
How was it
and
fun?
It's always because like the handicap whole thing is skewed. Par 5s are always skewed harder than they really are, because they're longer. So now you're getting a double bump on a par 5 on a golf course that's wide open where he can't hit it out of bounds or anything, and it's like, oh my gosh, impossible.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense sometimes, but I will say, if you're from Minnesota and you've never seen, I'm almost certain, I might have to go back and look, but it had to be from Minnesota. I did a case last year where the guys that were leading after day 1, they each shot like, I think the one guy shot like net 58. The other guy shot net 62, right? They were just dominating the event. And they had so much fun that the one guy got a DUI on his way home. So they got kicked out, or well, they didn't get kicked out. The guy wasn't there, so they couldn't really play the way they needed to. It's a good video. You should go search. Search for that one.
Is this a Barstool? Is it a Barstool event?
No, it was just
a member guest somewhere.
Just a member guest. I feel like those boys up in Minnesota, they do a lot of drinking. So
I used to work at a golf course in the summertime once in a while, and those member guests, highway patrols would basically sit outside the gates because there's so much drinking going on.
Yeah.
And Yip, I don't know if you recall this or not, but a little while back, you actually came out with a story. It came out as a story, not on one of your posts, about Monticello Country Club up here in Minnesota. Our third party of Break80 is not here with us today, but he is a member at Monticello Country Club. I'm wondering if you recall that story at all.
I really... Could you refresh my memory? Because all these stories just kind of...
I'm thinking it might be the one that got pulled over, to be quite honest. There were some ridiculously low scores coming out of Monticello.
It was a 2-man something at Monticello. I can't remember what it was either, but we were all sending it to Jeff, our third guy, because it's his home course. It's where he grew up. It's the course he grew up on, and he didn't recognize either person. So I don't know if they were what happened there. If one was a member that was newer to town, or whatever, and brought somebody else, so he didn't recognize either one.
Maybe it was Jeff. He does own a white belt.
Yeah, maybe it was Jeff. He does own a white belt.
I mean, he could be one of the 12 percenters. That's not a sandbagging rat, but I mean, chances are.
It's been a pleasure. We have a saying here on the Break80 podcast that the difference between 79 and 80 is everything, and especially if you're playing straight and you're not cheating. So, thanks for coming on. Hopefully, it's continued success in your investigative career as a journalist and digging into handicaps and calling out those rats.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, guys. It's been a pleasure. Appreciate the opportunity. You guys ever want me on in the future, next year after I become just this mega name in the world of golf, I'd be happy to join you.
So before we cut this off here, what is it just Yip Strickler kind of everywhere? People can find you on socials, website.
Yeah, Yip Strickler, yipstrickler.com. Take you straight to my hats. Yip Drip will get you all this random Yip gear, such as you get Yip Strickler Crocs, Yip Strickler underwear for you and your old lady. Oh yeah,
Whoa.
you turn those things around. They say members only for the women. I have sold multiple pair in the state of Nebraska.
Oh.
There's a lot of Yipomaniacs. Yeah, check it out. Appreciate the support. And like I said, I'm just dedicated to protecting the game of net golf. And it seems like there's a lot of people that are appreciative of my work.
Yeah,
so.
Everybody's into it. So we appreciate you coming on. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I hope those exist.